those hands raised in the queue, and we will get started. Max Baker, you're first up. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, Nick told us that he thought Charlie would have been proud of the way you played, and I was just wondering if you sort of talked to him after the game and what was his sort of thoughts on how you played on Saturday.
I think he thought I played pretty well. He complimented me. He told me just to bring it every week. I'm just trying to let last Saturday go as far as the goods and the bads, and just refocus this week and try to prepare the same way that I did or better, so that I can have as well or even better performance this week.
Andrew Kaufman, you're next.
Hey, man, what was working for you last week? You mentioned bringing what you did last week to this week. What did you do so well last week that allowed you to have those 3.5 tackles for loss?
I would just say film for sure. Be in the film room, watching Alabama's games from last year, and just seeing tendencies and things that players do to kind of give stuff away kind of earlier. And just preparing mentally, not having a lot of stress on me, and just stretching and preparing like I did any game before I got to college, just doing everything right to make sure that I can play fast and confident.
Colin O'Brien from Jeff City, go ahead.
Hey, Martez, hope you're doing well. Eli was telling us earlier today that nobody played well enough or coached well enough to win the game Saturday, and then that started with him. And you mentioned putting all that behind you and refocusing. Just what are you focused on doing better as a defensive unit, and then I guess individually against Tennessee for this coming week?
I would just say just playing fast from the first play. I would say last week I feel like we started to kind of get in the groove in the second half. So I would just say just starting the first play and finishing the last play the same way that we started to play towards the end of last game. And, just believing in each other and playing for each other and not having any personal or selfish goals in mind, just playing for the brother next to you and playing for the Tigers.
Kyle Pinnell, go ahead.
Hi, Martez. You did some track and field before coming to Mizzou, and I'm just kind of curious how, just having that background, how is that translated to the football field, not just with your speed and explosiveness, but also your mentality and your approach to the game?
I often said in high school that I feel like track is one of the hardest sports in the world, even harder than football mentally, because every week you're going to be leaving the meet that you showed up to at 7 in the morning. You'll be leaving that at about 9 at night, and you know that you're going to redo that every week, as many events as you have. So I would just say from a mental standpoint, doing that and just crossing barriers and that, and just, I don't know, it just makes me feel like it really helped my mental toughness, and conditioning, and just knowing when I'm tired that I can still perform. So,
Mitch 40 from Power Mizzou, you're up.
Martez, how is this strong safety spot that kind of plays down in the box some? How is that different than maybe what you did last season? And what about that position do you feel like really suits your skill set?
I've always been I really like to tackle. I like to tackle a lot. I feel like it's one of my key, I don't know the word, advantages. I don't know. But I like to tackle a lot. Block shedding is another specialty. That's what I'm looking for. Another specialty of mine, I would say. I like to think myself as good at getting off blocks. So I feel like that's kind of what that position's for, and just having good eyes and staying disciplined. So I feel like last year, I could still go back now and play the position I was playing last year. It's just obviously we have some of the best safeties in the country alongside me. So I'm just happy with the role that I could get, and just I'm just happy to be a starter and being able to have my 111 on the defense,
So Ichi Terada, Kansas City Star, go ahead.
Martez, just wondering, what do you see from Tennessee this year, and what do you remember from last year when they got you guys pretty good through the air?
I would just say that they're obviously not as talented as Alabama. You know what I mean? There's probably one of the best teams we're going to see all year. But they are a really good football team. And it's just going to be about, like I said earlier, it's going to be about us just playing from the first play to the last play, like the way that we know we can. And, I mean, after us playing one of the best teams in the country last year, our first game, I feel like that's really in our advantage. And we know, like, because of things that we did well, other schools aren't going to be able to replicate because so a lot of them just don't have the guys, you know what I mean? So I feel like just playing to the best of our ability and not beating ourselves in a lot of ways with explosive plays or penalties and stuff.
Bennett Durando, you're up.
Hey, Martez, I was just wondering what it feels like or if there's any sort of emotional rush when you end up with a tackle for loss against a team like Alabama. Does that compare differently to making a big play against anyone else? What sort of goes through you?
No, I mean, it feels pretty awesome just to be able to play on Faroe Field, you know what I mean, in front of my friends and family, in front of my town. I wouldn't really put a lot of focus on the Alabama part. I mean, because it's going to feel just as awesome to make that play against anybody, you know what I mean? So, no, I wouldn't say as much Alabama, but it is like a really tremendous and like huge honor to be able to play in front of my family and friends and just my community.
Game.mp4, Mizzou, you're up.
Yeah, Martez, I know you guys try to approach every game the same way, but this season with nothing but SEC games and no, I guess, quote unquote, weeks off for easier games. I mean, what changes day to day as far as preparation, recovery, things like that?
I think you have to just realize that you don't get any days back. You know what I mean? So if it's an off day, then you really gotta like get off your feet and just take care of your body. You know what I mean? Because you're back. I feel like this is as close to an NFL schedule as we're gonna see. You know what I mean? Especially and also like for the guys who plan to play on Sundays. You know what I mean? Just being able to see like, hey, can I stick with this season and stick with this process? Because I mean, you have a good team every week. You know what I mean? So I feel like just taking every day, taking advantage every day of practice, advantage every day in the film room, advantage of every day in the recovery aspect, I feel like it's going to be a major key to having your players with you all season, you know? So I feel like there's going to be a lot of teams that, you know what I mean, who guys aren't going to make it past week 6 and 7 just because their bodies are just so beat up, you know what I mean? So I feel like just really taking care of yourself is going to be a big advantage for a lot of teams.
Andrew Kaufman, KMIZ, go ahead.
Martez, I'm just curious, playing on the road and you're going to Neyland Stadium, a place that normally has 100,000 plus fans, and of course that won't be the case this week. Do you think there's any advantages to that, to being the road team, playing against Tennessee when there aren't any fans really?
I mean, yeah, I would just say, because I mean, I feel like just in sports in general, you know what I mean, playing at your home is always going to be an advantage just because you have the energy of your fans. I mean, you're comfortable, you practice on that field, you know what I mean? But I was saying early in the year when I found out about the schedule that there's not going to be that advantage anymore. So it's just going to be like hype is not going to be any team, you know what I mean? It's just going to be about performing, you know what I mean, and just everybody doing their job. So, yeah, I would say that I guess it's an advantage in either favor, you know what I mean? It's just going to be about, like I said, guys showing up.
And it looks like we'll end it with Bennett Durando, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Go ahead.
Martez, there were a lot of guys who sort of talked about how you stepped up this offseason as a vocal leader, especially with the march and things like that. I'm curious if there's been a moment this offseason or recently where you feel like you've become an on-the-field leader too.
Yeah, I would say that just like through fall camp, I would say that I started to get comfortable with, you know what I mean, correcting guys or speaking up on the field and like making sure guys are right, really communicating. And I feel like that the last game that just happened, I feel like really helped me do that too, you know what I mean, be able to like show my teammates like, hey, I belong here. And they believe that the whole time, but I feel like it's just able for me to have that confidence, like, hey, like, you know what I mean, I can make big plays and I can be a leader on this defense as well. So and it's actually crazy you asked that because back in quarantine, like I think I want to say March, February, we all, our defensive coordinator or my safeties coach, Ryan Walters, he asked us to do our season goals. And what one of my goals actually was just to earn the trust and respect from my coaches and my teammates. You know what I mean? Just because, like, I didn't play that much. You know what I mean? Last year as a freshman, so just being able to have my teammates feel comfortable and know that I'm gonna do my job to the best of my ability every play, I feel like is really, really awesome.
Okay, that's it for Martez. Thank you very much.
You guys have a good evening.